Thank you, Jesus. It's all good. It's all God. Getting ready to start this meeting. Pray that it's exciting, informative, helpful. Here we go. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Michelle. Sure, my stuff's working here. How you doing, cuz?
I'm doing good, and you?
All right. Just you got a little couple of technical difficulties, but they all getting worked out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Hey, Wandale.
What's up, Jerry?
How you doing, cuz?
All right, and yourself today? That Bridget in the background over there?
She's beautiful like
Oh, that's
Bridget.
Tony and Michelle. Okay.
Yeah.
How you doing today?
That's Michelle.
Yeah. How y'all doing?
Great.
Doing good.
Good.
Glad
Can
you
you
was able
see
to.
me okay? I need some more light.
You're doing pretty good.
All right. I had
It's
to
a lot
close the
better.
blinds behind me so you can see me.
Yeah, it was a lot better than the last time. That's great, cuz.
Oh yeah, I got blinds behind me. If they open, you can't see my face.
Yeah, I know. That's what I have to do too. I have to keep it real.
Yeah. How you feeling?
Fine. Been busy and been doing some fishing. So I'm getting in my
Oh, that's
fishing
good.
mode.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know you're catching fish.
Yes. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
To get out
Now,
and
I ain't never caught a fish in my life.
oh, you kidding, man. You gotta come down.
Well, I'm gonna have to do that, man, because look, I got a couple of fishing poles in the garage, man, and ain't nothing that been caught on them.
Oh man, I'd love to take you out.
Oh man, yeah, get down there.
I see
So
Tiffany
how's the
is
weather down there? Is it good?
that's great, man. It's like 85. 85
It's
now.
kind of warm down here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's warm. Yeah, that's good.
I got it. Mommy.
Tiffany, can you hear me, Tiffany?
Yes, yes, I'm on.
How you doing?
I'm good. And yourself?
Great. So will we be able to see you through the video, or are you gonna just be on per speaker?
Yeah. No. I'm about to turn on. Give me 1 second.
Oh, yeah, get your stuff together.
Okay.
There you are. Man, everybody's showing up. It's pretty cool. Hey, Tommy.
Hi, Jerry.
Good. So you got my message, huh?
Yes, sir.
Good. I'm expecting this to hear for Frances Haywood to join our meeting also. She's my mentor who helped me get started with my research. I'll share some information about the family dynamics. Tiffany, where do you live? Tiffany.
I'm in Columbia, South Carolina.
She's South Carolina.
Yeah.
Y'all been having a few storms down there, haven't you?
Not in the last couple of days, no.
That's your son right there?
Yes.
How old is he?
Say hi. Hi. How old are you? How old are you? Say 4. That's not 4.
That's great.
That's 2. That's 2. That's 4. 4. The 4. That's not 4. That's 2, son. Okay.
Okay, here comes Francis Haywood. That's great. South Carolina. It's a long ways from California.
Oh, yeah.
So Francis is getting connected right now because we don't see her audio, or she's getting connected. So that's good. Wanda, you been pretty busy up there in LA?
Jerry, my cars just was keeping me busy, man. That's what's keeping me busy. Trying to do a little house stuff, but mainly trying to get them cars on the road.
I
I'm gonna have
heard
to
that.
I'm going to downsize, so I got to figure out what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to let go. So, trying to put a few things in place so I can make that decision.
Yeah, it's one
Can't
thing.
keep them all.
It's one thing to accumulate them, and then you gotta get rid of them. It's pretty tough. It's hard.
Well, yeah, it did, because my mindset originally was to start a business with them, and then I bought buildings. When I bought the buildings, the cars got pushed to the side. Then now I don't have the buildings and the cars is there, but I'm checking out age. Age is not on my side right now. I'm talking about for a long-term deal. So everything has to be structured.
What kind of cars?
I'm working on the 64 Impala Super Sport right now. And then I have a 68 Buick GS 400, 55 Chevy two-door Bel Air sedan. I got 9 cars.
I have a brother that collects cars.
Is that right?
So text me or put it in the chat, your information, and I'll pass it on to my brother.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that'll work. I had to figure that out, but Jerry helped me. He'll walk me through all this information.
Yeah, we'll get you connected.
I gotta love.
Or email it to me. Either way.
Oh, okay. All right. That'll work. Yeah, he likes cars. I like to find people who like cars. It's quite a culture out here in California.
That's my email in the chat.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll get that out of there. All right. And I'll post that up, and I'll send it to you. Send you my information. All right.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Francis.
Hey, how you doing?
Cousin Francis. She lives in Carson, Wandale Carson.
She's down in Carson?
Yeah.
Just down the street. She's
Where?
Right down the street.
Oh, hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
Been
out here for a long time.
Yeah, me too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Carson, you right next door to Compton and Gardena.
That's why I tell people I live 2 blocks from Compton.
Yeah.
They may not know where Carson is, but they really know, they understand where Compton is. So,
oh yeah. Yeah, Compton and Carson's right next door to each other.
Yeah. Well, is it Mr. J? What's your first name?
Wandale.
Wandale
Jackson. Yes.
Wandale Jackson. Where do you live? I live up
Martin Luther King Boulevard in Western. Not too far from the sports arena, Coliseum.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Okay. Yeah, I live up across the street from Cal State Dominguez Hills.
Oh yeah, I know that area down there.
Yeah.
I used to run around down there all the time.
Yeah, I always tell people where my father's brother, my uncle, lived in, well, they called it Torrance back in the 50s.
Uh-huh.
So we'd come out to visit because I grew up in Kansas City. And we come
Okay.
out to visit, and I said, no, I've known this neighborhood for about 70 years now. I
Right.
haven't lived out here that long. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
It's nice out there.
yeah.
Yes.
I had a friend in Carson,
Oh, okay.
California, Bree
Bree, what's her last name?
Polk.
Polk. No, I don't know Polk. Is she related to those Polks from Arkansas?
Oh, I don't know. I just know she had vision problems.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. And she lived in Carson. We visited her a couple times.
No, speaking of, there's somebody wrote a book. I don't know where it is in my house. And when you mentioned Polk, and we're talking about Arkansas, what's the president Polk? Was it James Polk? Well, he had one of his cousins or somebody moved to Howard or Hempstead County. So that's why I was asking, is he a descendant? Because this relative who went to Arkansas had his black enslaved family along with his white family that he acknowledged. So I was just curious if she was part of that family.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Well, once Wandale gets back, we're going to do some introductions, and then we're going to just go right on in with the meeting and catch people as they come in. But basically, we've been consistent, and we're doing a lot of research and sharing our research, and we're connecting with different relatives now, and in different branches of the family. They're coming together, and we get a chance to see them on our recordings, and we're starting to see how the family portrait is being put together. That being said, we're going to have some brief introductions of who you are, your purpose, and where you live, and just give us a brief introduction of each other. And so we're going to start with Tiffany, Tommy, and then Francis. Tiffany, please.
Yeah, I'm Tiffany Estes, and I'm currently in Columbia, South Carolina. And what brought me to the research is just I'm trying to find more of my family member. My father's father doesn't really talk about his side of the family, so we kind of don't know none of the Estes. So just trying to find family.
That's good. Tommy?
My name's Tommy Lewis. I live in Denton, Texas. I joined through an invitation from Jerry and through our DNA matches with some of the other folks that have been on this meeting. I don't see some of them now, but I've joined several of them and thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, thanks for the information you share with us. Francis?
Oh yeah, hi, I'm Francis. I'm Francis Haywood. I'm kind of been at this for a while. I'm still figuring out. I haven't got all the answers too, but I was very curious about Tiffany, about you live in South Carolina, or your family's from South Carolina?
No, I just live in South Carolina. My father's side of the family's from Clinton, Kentucky, and my mother's side of the family is from Sturgis, Kentucky, and her last name is DeRose.
Oh, okay. So no, I'm a Burnell, and I always tell people that I'm related probably to everybody who related to or connected to almost everybody who lives in Nevada County, Hempstead, Howard, and Washita, Columbia County, Arkansas. And learning that through all the DNA tests. And I have a number of DNA tests that I manage some of you are probably matching, and they're managed by Francis Haywood, and the other cousin who has a whole bunch of DNA tests for family that you might be matching, or those managed by Ezel Kendricks. We're Burnell cousins and Kendricks cousins.
Thank you.
Wow.
Tiffany, who did you say, or what did you say the last name was of your mother's family?
Rose.
Oh, Rose?
Yes.
R-O-S-E?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to continue with hi, Deborah. Thanks for coming in, Deborah. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, good. We're just having some brief introductions, and we've got a couple more, and then we'll get to you, Michelle, and then cousin Wandale.
Okay, I'm Michelle. Anthony, I don't know if he'll make it back in time. He had to run an errand. We're currently in Texas. My family is from Texas, and I'm related to Jerry on both sides, my mother's side and my father's side. And I'm slowly trying to figure out how exactly, who's the connection. And so that's where I am right now. It's getting closer, and we're seeing different matches as we go through each week. But right now, I still haven't pinpointed the relatives, and it does go back kind of far. So that's why it's taken a while, because I don't know all the information.
That's good. Thank you. And you live in what part of Texas?
I'm in Houston, Texas, and my family is from Columbus, Texas. And my father's family is from Hugo, Omaha, and they're right now in Denison, Texas.
Hugo what? Oklahoma?
No, Hugo, Oklahoma.
Yeah. I know about Omaha now. I know about Omaha.
So pick your ears up over there. Huh?
That's good. Well, thank you, Wandale. And then
Okay.
Deborah, you'll be next. Just a brief introduction.
I'm Wandale Jackson. I live in Los Angeles, California. I'm Jerry Moss's first cousin. His father and my father are related. They're brothers. And Jerry's the one that been bringing me into this right here. Keeps me posted. He kind of keeps me edging on too. So I get my information primarily be coming from him. And then the meetings have been really informative. And but I still say that as I see people and listen to everybody's story, it's really scary, because like Francis, you see, you're on the Burnell side. That's my grandmother, and I've never met my grandmother, but I know very little about her. Only what I've known through my sister. So that's some information down the road that I feel like I'll be able to get that.
Who's your grandmother?
Ethel Burnell.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she married David Moss, and that's
Okay.
Ethel Burnell. Yeah, that's our grandmother.
There's still some Burnells. There's still, I haven't talked to her in a couple of years, but there are still a couple older Burnells that live down in Stevens, and they help take care of the church, Mount Vernon.
Yes.
That they may have some information, or at least some remembrances.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to find their numbers.
Deborah, could you introduce yourself, please?
Okay, my name is Deborah Sparks, and I live in Northern California. I'm not directly related to the Burnells or the Mosses. I do show people in my family that were married to at least one Burnell and at least one Moss.
Okay.
Yeah, there were the family. I think Francis pointed it out. They married 4 times, back and forth through the family.
Through the family.
4 times. Mosses married Burnells. Burnells married Mosses because they were in the same area. Same area. So that being said, myself, I'm Jerry, and I've been doing this research for like about 3 years now. And my mentor is here. I'm glad she's here, Frances. She got me started. She gave me my pedigree chart, and I took that pedigree chart and started using that as a basis of building my tree, and then started my research with the DNA, got my ancestry DNA, and I started connecting people through DNA and through science. So what was on paper, I took that and got my test and started matching relatives through DNA science, and now we have over 250 members in our family that are related from that beginning, Francis, that's part of our group. And I live in San Diego.
I take no credit, Jerry. I'm just like everybody else. Hey, 1 foot in front of me, try to figure it out too.
So we got a couple, we want to share some information. We have a couple of new people who are participating, haven't been lately, but you're here now. And I wanted to, Tommy's going to give us a presentation on some of the history of the Moss surname and their migration patterns from England through the southern states. And Frances, she's going to be available. Just give us a little feedback what she has, and then we'll be able to ask her a couple of questions just to bring us up to date on where her process is. I believe you've had a book, haven't you? You've made a book, a family book of the records.
No, I just make little booklets for the family reunion and give them out periodically to the family so they can see all the family members.
Which is very, very helpful. And what happened is, as part of the story, my uncle Hubert, Wandale's dad, he was the family historian, and he would travel. He would go back and forth to Arkansas. He'd take Big Mama, we would call her Ethel Bonnell. He'd take her back to visit her sisters in Arkansas and where they live. And he would participate in a lot of the reunions on because there weren't reunions on the Moss side, but there were consistently reunions on the Burnells. They're pretty consistent on having their family history documented. And so they had a reunion about 10 years ago, the Burnells in Irvine at that El Dorado Park. And Uncle Hubert wasn't able to make it, so he asked me, "Hey, Jerry, can you go and represent the family at this Burnell reunion?" And I did. And I was surprised when I went, I saw these Burnells, and they looked just like my grandmother, and her and my uncles, and all of them. They were short and a little stubby. Some of them were stubby, and they were just a great group of people, and I was like directly related to them. They're like second cousins to me. So I picked up the torch from there, from Uncle Hubert, and I've been running that race with the torch that he left me, and started taking it to another level with science, DNA, and reaching out with this technology. That being said, any questions before we go into a couple of presentations? Okay.
I have a question for Tiffany. What is your name on Ancestry?
It's on Tiffany Estes. It says Tiffany Estes.
What's your last name?
Estes.
E-S-T-E-S?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Tiffany, have you gotten a Jet Match kit number yet? Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
You do
yes,
have?
you the one that showed me a while ago.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I have one.
Because we use that as a tool when we, identify, how we're related, how we're connected. Good for you. What about you, Deborah? Have you taken a DNA test?
I've taken the DNA test, but I have not gone on GEDmatch.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Is yours, what platform did you take your test? Was it
Ancestry?
It was Ancestry. So how did you how did you get connected to these both sides of the family? How did they show up matching? through your research?
Well, I knew my relatives on my mom's side, but I didn't on my dad's side. I wasn't even sure who my dad was, but through my research, one of your aunts, I think it was Lucy Burnell, was married to my grandmother's brother. And then I found a Moss that was married to a McClellan. And I found out that McClellan was the last name of my biological father.
That's interesting, isn't it? Can you all see that the how that's coming together? Those names. Can you see that, Francis?
Yeah, because I was looking up Lucy Burnell. Do you know who her husband was?
Tommy Pipkins.
Oh.
I think I might have spoken with you
Tommy
before. Because on my mom's side, there are a lot of Gullies, Haleys, and Pipkins.
And Francis, she says she might have talked to you before.
I may have. I probably have.
Yeah. But see, that information, thanks for sharing that, Deborah. And what we'll do is once we have a little bit more time, we'll be able to, like in my case, I'll be able to look at my tree, or when you get to the point where we're sharing our screens, we can start seeing how we are connected. And it will help you to get a JED match number, kit number, because that'll help. That gives you additional information. What it does is it compares your raw data with DNA with other platforms, 23andMe, MyHeritage, people who aren't on Ancestry, but they're on those other platforms, and you'll see that you have matches on those platforms also.
Okay.
That's what we use it for.
Yeah, Deborah.
Yes.
I pulled up my ancestry tree, and that's why I say we're just so intertwined. Okay, and we're just all cousins, because I looked up Lucy Burnell and Tommy Pipkins, and that's why I say that we're so interconnected, and you really have to. One of the things I do is my tree is so large because I have to, especially with my mom, this is my mom's family, that I really have to look at everybody. Because if I look up Tommy Pipkins' mother was probably my grandfather's half sister on the Hickses. So that makes us probably cousins 3 or 4 different ways.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So that's why, when the tree is big, and I'll stop in a minute, Jerry, because when I started with everybody with a few names and then with help and whatever. So I looked up Tommy Pipkins, and his father was Jefferson and his mother was Francis. Now I have in parentheses Dixon, so I'm not, and then I have Hicks, I'm not sure. But if Francis was a Hicks, that's more than likely my grandfather's half sister. Okay, so it's almost like you have to kind of build out those trees to really, really kind of see the connection. And they were down in Paris, Texas, and there's a whole bunch of Burnells in Paris, Texas. And so that's just my comment. I don't know. Okay. It's crazy. I don't know if that's helpful, but I've got Lucy in my tree.
Okay. But I'm more interested in the Pipkins, because that's my grandmother, my great grandmother's last name her maiden name was Pipkins.
Okay.
And Tommy was
one of her sons? No.
Yes.
Tommy?
No, Tommy was her brother.
Tommy was her brother? Okay, so his father was Jefferson Pipkins?
Yes.
Okay.
Annie Pipkins was his sister.
Yeah, they're all in my tree.
Now I haven't, maybe we can get together later, because I don't really have anything about Jefferson Pipkins or Francis.
Mhm.
anything before Frances. So I don't know
Okay.
her sisters and brothers or her parents. I don't have any of that. I just
Okay,
have from her forward.
Okay, if you put, if I have some information, I don't have it all.
Okay.
Okay. If you, in the chat, if you, I don't know how that works. If you give me your email address, if all of you give me your email address, I'll send you an invite to this tree. That is huge because it
Okay.
includes both my father's family and my mother's family. So I've gone beyond just the Burnells or the Mosses. I've just kind of spread out because everybody's kind of, I pick up different things as I do that.
Okay.
So if you just put your email address in, I'll send you an invite to my tree and maybe that'll be helpful, or at least it gives you a start. That's all I did. Jerry was give him a start. I'm not his mentor.
Okay, well, I'm not
Crazy
a very,
if you're not.
I'm not very computer literate, so I don't know about the chat. How about if I send you a message on Ancestry?
Yeah, that'll be fine. I'm under Francis Haywood.
No,
Okay.
hold on. Let's complicate that. Give her your email address now. Get some pens and paper. We see each other. Write it
got my
down
pens.
right now.
Okay, I
Give
got
the
it.
email.
Okay, I got it.
My goodness.
Okay.
My email address is Sparks Do Right, SPARKSDORIGHT
Uh-huh.
at AOL.com.
Okay, Sparks Do Right at AOL.com. Okay, I got
Yes.
it, Deborah. Okay.
Okay. And I don't have a pen and paper right at this moment to get yours, so just give me a message.
I'll email you.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. Thank you.
Mhm.
And this is an example of how we team up with each other. We help each other once we find some individuals have common interest. And we usually have somebody who's a little bit more experienced. We team up with the person who needs a little assistance. It's not help, a little assistance, and we work it out together. And look at the research that Frances has done and how it's helped you, Deborah. See, it's helped you, but she's giving you information that you didn't know about, isn't she?
Yes, she is. That's wonderful. Then I can take it and run with it and do more research.
That's what I did about 3 years ago. And I've been to Frances's house 2 times, at least 2 times. My wife Barbara and myself, we went a few years ago, and about another year, I went and visited her, and she was very kind and gave me a lot of information. And we sit at the table and we solve some family paternity issues.
And they're still being solved.
Sit at the kitchen table.
And they're still being opened up.
Yeah. So that's why I say she's my mentor. Yeah, so that's cool. All right, so that being said, Tommy, do you want to take some time and give us? I just want to let you know that what's happening. I have traced our family history through my my pedigree to Hempstead County,
Right.
the 1850 slave schedule, and Ozan Township,
Right.
and the slave master was William Moss.
Gotcha.
William Moss. And from there, that's where I started. After our family were freed, they stayed in that area, and that's why it originated from Hempstead County. You hear me say that Hempstead County, Ozan Township. That's where the plantation was, and it was not necessarily a plantation; it was a farm.
Right.
He had a farm, and
right.
Yeah. Now I can't. you know, the slave schedules 1850, they had names. I mean, they had age. They didn't
Ages.
have names.
It is enumerated, right?
Right. And,
Right.
and my third great grandfather was one of those
Gotcha.
slaves
Gotcha.
on
Fantastic.
that 1850 census. And then so
Right.
now what's happened here, the reason why Tommy is going to give his, one of the things he's going to share with us, he's going to give us a little more history about the Moss migrations from Europe to some of the other locations, and exactly how it ties in. It's helpful. Tommy is related to me. We are related, and so
Right.
he has done a lot of research, and I want to always have. I want to have as much information out there as possible, because some people want to know some of this information. My main
Right.
focus is you know, how we connected to people who I see on this screen.
Right. Right.
So
Correct.
but like some have went further, so go for it, Tommy.
All right. Well, as usual, I typically have more questions than answers, but I'm going to show you what I got. There are, can you see my screen, the ancestry?
Well, let me make sure I have it set up for sharing. I'm gonna share a screen,
Okay.
everybody, so we can see his screen. Okay, you're available. Go on, Tommy.
Can you see it?
No.
No?
Yeah, come on in, dude. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Let me see.
How about now?
Yeah, we got it.
I got it.
Okay, so these are some folks that, and you'll recognize Val. And basically I have two groups of people that I haven't been able, or two family trees that I've put together that I haven't been able to find a common ancestor to my family tree.
Hey,
So the
Tommy,
search goes on.
Tommy,
Yes,
excuse me, could you start at the top? I want to see your top ones.
my top ones. Oh, what I've done is filtered a lot of this out.
Okay,
So they're in the order.
Okay, so now this is a snapshot, right?
Yes, this is
Okay.
a snapshot of some folks that I've identified through that location in Southwest Arkansas.
Okay, so go ahead.
And I think Francis mentioned earlier, Columbia County. Columbia County's where my ancestors settled from Alabama, and they were slaveholders. And I'll get into that in a little bit here in just a minute. But I wanted to show you some of the folks. There is, and we talked about this before, Jerry, there is the gentleman's name was Rufus Moss, and his wife was named Alabama Moss. So
Yes.
I have a tree of this Mays 321, and this lady here, Markeisha Anthony, they're all related to me through DNA and connected back through to Rufus and Alabama Moss.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've seen
Yes.
I've seen Rufus in Alabama, like in the 1870 census.
Yes, they show up in Hempstead County. The
Right.
post office called Bell's Store, Hempstead County. That's where they
Correct.
show up in the census. Yeah. So Val, and this is Val's niece. This is Val's nephew, I believe. Another one of Val's niece. This is the lady that was on the
Yeah, that's Rochelle.
Rochelle. She was with us a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, she was. That's right.
Okay, so those are the two, basically the two clusters, as you mentioned before, of people that I identified in two different family trees that link back to me. But I don't know the common ancestor. Again, I have more questions than I do.
I understand.
So I really liked what you did the last time with your through lines.
Yes.
And it really puts stuff in perspective. And I'll show you how I get back to the Moss, and then we'll go through their migration pattern.
Look at your family. There's your mother and father.
Yeah, that's
huh?
my father, mother. This is my father's side of the family here. This is
Yes.
my grandmother Cassie Johnson, her mother was named Mineola Moss. So this is my great grandmother. This is where the connection comes in, right? This is where the Moss family gets injected into the Lewis family through Mineola. She, I didn't know a lot about her. In fact, the family never really talked about her much. And the reason being is she died young, basically after she had her kids from the Spanish flu in 1917.
Oh,
and that's
wow.
really all we ever talked about her, was her and her infant son died at the same time. They died on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, 1917 in Alpine, Texas.
Could you show us who those two DNA matches are?
Through
Her right there.
DNA?
Just click on that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to show you here, this is my father. That was my grandmother. That's my great-grandmother. So these are his sister and his brother. And I know who these people are.
Right.
This is my cousin. This is my cousin here. We're real close. So
That's
back
cool.
to that. Yeah.
See, and that's how the through lines work. You see how that is? It brings it right on up, the information right to you.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, Tommy,
Yes, sir.
your grandmother, is she from Virginia?
No, sir.
Or Georgia?
She's from, her family is originally from Alabama. She was born in Texas. And I'll get to that here in just a minute. So her father, this is her father, Walter Scott Moss. He was born in Columbia County, I believe. But he was born in Texas. I mean, in Arkansas. His father is Jackson Carroll Coffee Moss. Jackson Carroll Coffee Moss was born in Kentucky. All right. So I know I'm going through this pretty fast, but I'm trying to get down to this guy right here. Reverend Thomas Moss is the one that moved from England to Kentucky, and then from Kentucky into Northwest Alabama. So the 1830 census, all his kids were born in Kentucky. In the 1830 census in Alabama, he's got 10 slaves. All right. So in the 1850 census, he's got 17 slaves, and he dies soon after the 1850 census. And he wills all of his slaves to his daughters and his wife. Pretty much within months after he dies, his wife and one of his sons moves to Northwest Arkansas. And in that census, that he had 25 slaves, I believe, in Northwest Arkansas. Wow. When they were in Alabama, the family had close to 50 slaves between the father and two of his sons. One son stayed in Alabama, and the other son and his wife moved to Northwest Arkansas. That's Columbia County. They show up in some of their siblings that moved with them, and their kids and stuff show up in Northwest Louisiana, which makes sense. And then they show up in Columbia, Hempstead, and Nevada County. So that pretty much gets my ancestors to the same location that Jerry Moss's ancestors and Val's ancestors came from. It's that same general part of Arkansas. There's a lot that was going on. I did some reading on that part of Arkansas. There's a couple of really good master theses that were written about Hempstead County. The slaves in Hempstead County had a lot to do with the Red River. I think, Jerry, you're talking about William Moss. I think he was a riverboat captain on the Red River.
That's right.
So Arkansas, the two slave areas were the Mississippi River, what they call the Eastern Block of the Mississippi River, and then Southwest Arkansas. And for the same reasons, they're both lowlands. If you know anything about Arkansas, once you get into northern Arkansas, it's pretty much the Ozarks or the Ouachita Mountains. So it's pretty much mountains there. So the southern part of the state's where all the farming went on. But that gets me to that location. You can tell from the DNA. So Val and I were at like 100 centimorgans. which puts us at third, fourth generations. Which one, who's responsible for what, and where where all this happened, I'm not sure yet. And we haven't been able to pick a certain person. And I'm also not sure how these Mosses relate to the William Moss that you have that was the riverboat captain too. But there probably is some relationship there. People don't generally just go someplace for no reason, right? Especially the whole family. So for whatever reason, Southwest Arkansas, that's where a lot of these folks showed up and brought their farms and their slaves and that kind of stuff with them.
Now, when you said Northwest Louisiana, you talking around Shreveport?
Yes.
A place called Ringo.
Unshare your screen, Tommy.
Unshare it?
Yeah.
And you talking about places like it's a small community called Ringo, Louisiana. That there was some mosses there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's where mine come from. Up in that area.
Jerry, no, yes. Tommy. About what time did your family come into Arkansas?
1850.
Okay.
So the Reverend Thomas Moss that I showed earlier, that came from England through Kentucky into Alabama. Alabama's where they had the bulk of their slaves.
Okay.
And then when he passed, one of his sons and his wife and some of his daughters moved to Southwest Arkansas. They did that in 1850. So they show up on the 1850 slave schedules, the 1860 slave schedules, and then of course 1870 that's regular census, and they're free now and they're not slaves anymore.
Okay, one of the reasons I asked was, when you're doing this, you just kind of get off in all kinds of directions. And so my maternal family came from Alabama, the Burnells, the Hicks. I saw a Hicks in your family, the Hicks, right. the Johnsons, and that's why I could say we're all, you really, when you're looking at it, you have to almost put everybody in your tree to kind of sort out exactly who married who. And so I was curious because my father's family didn't move to Arkansas until about 1885, so after the Civil War.
I got you.
However, about 1840 in South Carolina, that's where they were from, there's a whole group of family that left around Lawrence and Union County, South Carolina, and went into Howard County, which is the next county over from Hempstead. Oh, so there are those connections. And also, when I started on my journey trying to figure out the family, I'll be very honest, I was just very concerned about my African-American family. I didn't want to know who owned us, but I've learned that it's so important to know who is everybody's around you and where did they come from, because that makes that connection. Because you need to know who the white ancestors are to figure out your Black ancestors. Because you need to know their path from Virginia and Kentucky into Arkansas or wherever they went. And it really, really does help. So looking at your tree, Jerry, I might have some cousins in there, the Johnsons, the Hicks, the Normans, my father's family are Normans from South Carolina. I don't know what those roots were. So that's why I'm saying, when you're doing your tree, you really got to look at everybody.
I had not looked at the Moss side at all. I had spent all my time looking at the Lewis side, and then my mother's maiden name is Sapp. So I looked at the Lewis and the Sapp side, and I know where they came from, and and I've had my DNA tested at Family Tree, my ex, my Y, autosomal ancestry, all that stuff. So I focused on that, and I didn't start looking into the Moss side. Again, they never really talked about it, right? My family didn't. And so I never really started looking into it until Jerry and Val started punching on me. So when I started looking at that, I was shocked to find out that they were slave owners, to be perfectly honest with you, because it's never ever.
Yeah, and you really do have to know. You may not ever figure out exactly who they are, but they're your cousins somewhere out there, and they're
exactly. And I've got 2 or 3 people in mind. They're the right age. They're the right age in Alabama, and also the right age in Arkansas. And so I've got two. If I threw a dart at a dartboard, I think I would get pretty close to hitting.
I know the feeling. So the Hicks connection is no, yeah, my grandfather's mother married a Hicks. So, he's got a bunch of half siblings that are Hicks, and the Hicksers are from Alabama. So I don't know if your Hicks is from Alabama,
The Hicks is on my mother's side, and they were Mississippi and Georgia.
Okay, I'll have to go back and look. Getting close.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So when I had my DNA done in Ancestry, I was surprised to find out, it groups you in different regions. And then I was surprised to find out that I was more of what they called the southeastern region, which is because everybody else in my family is all Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Because they're straight from Kentucky to Texas. The Lewises went straight from Kentucky. And I find out I've got, for whatever reason, a lot more Moss in me than my aunt does on my father's side. Right?
Yeah.
So now they match, but they don't match near as close as I do. So for some reason,
And on that, I just want to add this to you. Some of those names that you mentioned, once our ancestors were freed, when they did get names, some of these slaveholders named these, their slaves, and they named them family members, their family members' names. And so those names that you're mentioning, Thomas Moss, William Moss, James Moss, all those names are part of our ancestors. Like my Thomas William, and then William Thomas. And they're duplicate names in a lot of cases. So you'll see, there's not just one. There's a number of them. And I read a statistic where when in Virginia, the early settlers, there were like 93 families that had the Moss surname. So that's just the name. So you don't get caught up on the name. You get, like I refer to the science, and then and be reliable as I can get with the information, and get away from some of these theories. And I'm basing my work. Uh-oh. Are y'all still here?
Yeah.
Oh, what did I do? But I'm basing my research off of science and verifiable records.
Right. And what I found out is sometimes I'll just put it aside. If I'm really working really close on something and I get stuck, I'll put it aside and work on another side of the family. And then something will happen, somebody will contact me, and I'll go, the Dionyse, she helped a lot, right? With the chromosomes between me and Val and you and Val and all that stuff. And it was fascinating. And I'd never seen any of that before. So
it is. So thanks for those presentations.
Sure.
And Eddie, how you doing down there, Ed?
I'm good. I didn't know what time to log in. I'm old now.
So Eddie Henderson, hey, could you get for some of the newer members, could you give a brief description? He's my technical advisor, by the way. He's one of my cousins, but he's my technical advisor. He helps me technically how to maneuver the system, and keeps the production going. Go on, cuz.
About what?
Introduction, yeah.
Everybody knows me, don't y'all? Who doesn't know me?
Go on, take the bait, Eddie. Tell us who you are. Take the bait.
I'm Eddie Henderson. My mosses haven't come across your mosses yet. So I'm still looking for the set of mosses. My mosses are from East Texas. Around, like I was asking Tommy, they're around northern Louisiana, Arkansas, down into East Texas, which is Jefferson, Marion County. And then I found some from Mississippi also. So I'm looking at those to trying to find out who they are and where I fit into this big puzzle. So
Where do you live at?
I live on a mountain somewhere out there in the blue skies. I live in Kansas City, but I was raised in California. I grew up in Northern California, 45 miles outside of San Francisco. Berkeley. I lived in Berkeley, Oakland, Richmond, and a couple other places. I left there and went to college. Went to college in Texas. That's why I ended up here, following my wife. Me and my wife been together 45 years.
Congratulations.
And I'm only 21.
Eddie, what part of Mississippi did you?
I just found some names that was in Mississippi. I don't know exactly where they all are. I know there's some in Mississippi. I think some are close to Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
Eddie, which Kansas City do you live in? I live in Missouri.
I live in the good state of Missouri.
Oh, okay. I grew up in the good state of Kansas. Okay.
I worked in Kansas. I retired from General Motors, and I worked.
Okay. Okay. No, I have my family. My family most lives in Kansas City, Kansas. The Owens.
Well, I go back. I'm over there all the time. You know, that's just like hop, skip, and jump for me.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Well, you know, we have the Jed Match project, and I'm doing some research on it, and I'll be talking to our representative to find out exactly what the purpose is and what kind of information we can generate from the project. What we've done is we submitted to Jed Match over 100 Jed Match kit numbers, and you needed to have 30 to qualify for this here program project that they're doing. And ours is centered around that Hempstead, Nevada County, Columbia County. It's regional, and they're going to be a part of a study, and we can see how we're going to try to get as much information from that study on how it can help on our origins and how we're connected. And another thing is science-based, because all these Jed Match numbers, they're all of our Jed Match numbers and our relatives. And so we'll see what comes out of it. It's like they're putting it all together, and we're going to see what kind of information we're going to get from that program.
Also, I want to share with everybody, I got some new names of mosses. My wife has a coworker, and she told I was doing genealogy, and she said, well, my family's from Nevada County, Arkansas, and they're Mosses. And she gave me some names here. They got there was William Moss, Andrew Moss, Penny Moss, Miles Moss, and there's a James Moss, Melinda Moss, Thomas Moss, Etna Moss, and Alice Moss. That's her family. But they're all from Nevada County.
Mm-hmm.
So she might be with.
Yeah, they are. I believe there's something. All those names, and those are similar. You know, once we do a little bit more research on them, we'll probably connect with them in some fashion. You'll be able to coordinate that, won't you, Eddie?
Sir?
You'll be able to coordinate that, won't you? Like from her.
She works with my wife, so I can get her anytime.
Okay. Well, Deborah, what do you think so far?
Very interesting. I like watching the YouTube videos of your meetings. They're very informative. And my getting together with Francis should be a plus. So I enjoy it. I think it's very good that we all get together and talk and help one another out.
And Tiffany, I'll be talking to you further. You know, we'll be going to do some more research on some of your goals.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try to, you know, get our schedules this week sometime and discuss some of your research,
Okay.
what we found out from yours. And because, am I going to have to,
Probably so. Whatever you get ready to say.
am I, and you're going to give me an excuse to come up to LA and give you this test?
Yeah, you're probably gonna need an excuse. Just come on up this way.
Yeah, well, I got two of them right here.
Uh-oh.
I got 2 tests. I'm due to come up in LA, like pretty soon, because Jerry, my son, wants some of my fishing poles.
Okay.
So I got to come up there and give him some poles.
Well, just let me know when you come down this way. I'll be around. I'll make sure I'm around.
I probably have to bring one of these here kits, this DNA kits with me.
Yeah, you might have to do that. Yeah, you might have to.
I get as many men as I can.
Yes, for sure.
Now, I have 2 sisters that's going to be in Ancestry, hopefully in the next 3 weeks. So I got 2 sisters. My older sister and my next older sister, they both did their DNA. So I'm gonna be looking through there, see if one of you guys follow up with them, because I don't match all of their family.
Yeah, on that same note, Eddie, my son Jerry Jr., he's 48. He just got his results, so that you'll see it. Jerry Moss. He just got his results, and my daughter Bridget, who's 44, her results come in at the end of this month. Okay. So both of them. And so it's pretty good to have their DNA and have their. It helps me with my research, and I talk stuff to my wife. Yeah, it is my kid. All right, we got him. She said, "I told you, y'all don't be messing with me." I said, "I had no doubts, baby." Yeah. Okay. And that's 45 years late. That's 45 years. I've been married for 45 years, but I don't marry myself. It's because of her.
I have a picture of my Moss if somebody, if y'all want looking at them.
Yeah, so that's where we at on. That's where we're at. Let's any other comments? We're going to go through some closing remarks here pretty soon, but it's open for discussion now. Let's open it up for general discussion.
I have a couple things I want to share. Like I said, I'm still learning. I still haven't figured out all of it. So, Deborah,
please.
When I pulled, one of the things, I don't know how many of you noticed that Ancestry has put on Arkansas death certificate, marriage certificates, and birth certificates.
Yes.
Excuse me. Hey, Francis, I just want to ask you this. Are you able to share your screen? Do you want to share your screen, or you just want to tell us verbally?
I'm not that I don't know how to do that.
So continue to talk then.
Okay. So Deborah, when you mentioned the Pipkins, because I just remember my mom using all these surnames. So I didn't know who they were, but it's just the surnames, Rowdens, they're all connected somewhere. They're connected. Yeah. So when you mentioned Pipkins, I pulled up a death certificate, an Arkansas death certificate for one of Jefferson Pickens' sons. And what's so interesting, the son died, his name was Herbie Pickens. So it on that certificate, he died in 1959, but it lists his mom, it lists his parents' names. And also when you look at it, you see who signs these death certificates. And that's kind of helped me because I was looking at one for a great aunt that my father had signed too. So just even looking at the certificate helps. So some of those certificates go back to the 1920s. I can't remember the date, but they're very early on. Because I have on my Hughes side of the family, still on my mom's side, my maternal side, my great-great-grandfather was Dennis Hughes. And I knew what the great-grandmother's first name was, but I didn't know what her surname was. And so looking at a death certificate, and she died in that time period, I now know she's a Green. And just from that, I've learned that there's a cemetery down in Columbia County called the Hughes Green Cemetery. Doesn't list a lot of people, but it does give you some more information. So just going through, if you can just go through, put in Moss and see how many death certificates you get, or how
Okay,
many
but
marriage
what
certificates.
what platform is that? I mean, what?
This is Ancestry. Ancestry.
Okay, so
They
where on Ancestry do you do this?
You
It
can
has
just
an area for death certificates.
Yeah, you can just, you know what I really done, Jerry? I just go into just search. And I put in like, as a matter of fact, I think I put in last night after I talked to you, I put in Moss. And I put in Moss in, let's say, Nevada County, and
Yeah.
just everybody who's a Moss comes up for a death certificate. And then you just kind of go through and choose.
Oh, okay.
You
But
just
that's
kind of
listed.
think, oh,
But
yeah.
that's listed under death certificates.
Yeah, I just go in under, I just went in under, just a general search, when it says
What
search.
DNA search or where at? Hey, Eddie,
No,
can
no,
you?
not a
Hey,
DNA search,
hey,
just
Eddie.
informational search.
Eddie,
Let me close it.
Eddie, can you walk
Yes.
us through that on the sharing the screen what she's talking about?
Okay, so
Can you help us?
I've got my,
Can you help us?
I don't know how to share a
No,
screen.
you don't have to, but tell just this technical wizard, watch what he's going to be able to do.
Okay,
Explain what
so
you're doing,
go
and he'll
into
be able to.
Ancestry.
Yeah, here he
Go to
comes.
search.
Here
Go
comes
up to
Eddie.
the, so
Now,
to go to
talk to him.
Ancestry. So go to Ancestry.
I'm in Ancestry. This is the search right
See the
here.
screen?
Okay,
Eddie's up
and-
now.
Okay, where's the screen, Eddie?
Right here. Can you see it?
Oh, wait a minute, let me, okay, I see it. Okay, so go up to search, okay?
Right.
And then under last name, put in Moss.
Okay.
And then you can, then just put in, where did they live? I would just say, let's say Nevada County, is that where they live? Okay, just
Yeah,
put
Nevada County,
Nevada
yeah.
County, But you're looking for death certificates.
Right.
So, okay, and so just click and see.
No, wait a minute. Where do you
Wait a
see?
minute.
Where does it say death certificates at?
Okay, look over the side.
Oh yeah,
So
right
look up-
there.
Yeah, you can do birth or marriage certificates.
Cemetery.
Which one do you want him to do?
Let's do death certificates.
Okay.
I'm already in it.
Okay, just see what you come up with. I don't know, Jerry. I'm not good at stuff like this, so.
Oh, you're doing great because like Eddie, he's following through. He's following your instructions.
Well, I don't know, following my instructions.
He doesn't follow mine, but he does. He follows yours.
I'm probably not doing this correctly. I'd have to.
Oh, we got
We're
it.
close, but there you are. So what we got here? What do you see?
Okay, so you can kind of look at, if you look in Arkansas death certificates, you can go to it, you might find a Moss that you can do it with any surname.
Well, here.
And you can also do it with birth certificates. So like I found my father, a lot of people, like my father was born in 1902 and he had to go back and get a birth certificate.
Yeah,
So-
Eddie, the only thing you did is you got the draft cards. This is draft. Can you
Okay,
click the death certificates?
death certificates.
Yeah.
So do you see any, I can't see your screen that well, but do you see
Yeah,
any
yeah.
Mosses? Do you see any Mosses?
Yeah, he has all kinds of them up in there. Now, what
Okay.
are these? Oh yeah, those are the death certificates, right?
Yeah, so you can kind of go through and see if any of those are your relatives. You might see a name that pops up if that's
Right.
And kind of, if you're talking like dying before, like say 1930 or
Like,
1920.
Hold it. Come on down. There's a John. That John Moss. See, there's a Reuben Moss and there's a John Moss.
Yeah, now look up Reuben Moss.
And
so it may
B-
not be Reuben, but it might be one of his children.
And B Moss. Yeah, there they are. That's my relative. And
Okay.
And they're Willisville. You see that cemetery, that McKinney
Yeah.
Cemetery?
Yeah.
My grandmother Della Heron is buried in that cemetery, McKinney Cemetery, right outside of
Okay.
Willisville.
Okay, after I talk to you, Jerry, I have no form of reason how I do stuff. I found out that Della's maiden name was a Piggy.
Her name was Rachel Heron.
Rachel?
Heron.
No, it was Rachel. On a death certificate, it's listed as Rachel Piggy.
I have some relatives in Las Vegas by the last name of Piggy.
The piggies are all the piggies are from down there in that area. That's why I just say you just kind of yeah.
The piggy.
I probably
related to the
Yeah. Thank you, Eddie.
yeah, but Rachel's maiden name or on that certificate whoever filled it out, Jerry, her maiden name was Piggy.
Yeah,
and there are a bunch of piggies in that area in those counties over there in that that southwestern part of Arkansas.
Well, thanks for sharing that, cousin Francis and Eddie. Great job, man, pulling that together for us.
Yeah, and so you can do that with death certificates. Yeah, because they went back. Arkansas went back, so I'm not quite sure exactly. I think it's like 1917 or 1920 or something. So some of those early.
It was very helpful because like just when he did that, I picked out 2-3 people.
Yeah, and so when you look at it, it may be their children, it could be them, but just look at the whole thing because there's really other pertinent information.
Yeah, great tool. I know what you mean. How they passed away, who signed it, and where they're buried at, all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, cuz. What other tool do you have for us? You told us about that.
These one of the things with talking to Tommy, the other thing, because it's so important to know all the families, the Black families, the white families. There's a website called Genealogy Hound, Hound.
Yes.
And it will give you the names of people who major people, white people who lived in those areas. So you might find a Moss, and so now you'll get that his father started in Kentucky and he moved to Alabama. So you kind of get that history to kind of help you figure out, how our families got wherever they were going or were taken to. It'll show, you can look it up by states and you can look it up by counties. So you can go into Arkansas and look up at who lived in Nevada County, which Mosses lived in Nevada County, or were there Mosses in Columbia County. So it's called Genealogy Hound.
I got the Hound.
Hound.
Okay.
Hound. Genealogy Hound. That's the website. So it'll kind of give you some biographies of families that lived in, all across the country, Alabama, Georgia, wherever people lived. And my final thing for the day, I don't know, Eddie, can you go on Ancestry and just pull up a DNA?
Earn your keep, Eddie. Earn your keep, Eddie.
Now, this is just my personal thing, and I just want to share it because a lot of things you learn. A younger cousin, I'll tell the story. Younger cousin called me a couple years ago and asked me, did we have, this is on my paternal side, did I have any family that lived in Lafourche, Louisiana? And I know there's family on the maternal side, the Mosses, the Burnells, that lived in the communities right, the northern part of Louisiana, near Nevada County, that borders Arkansas, but not Lafourche, not that far south. And so when I went in and looked it up, and I got a little bit more curious, and started looking at her DNA tests that she had taken, I discovered that our family are descendants of the Georgetown University 272 slaves that were sent to Louisiana.
Wow.
Just by DNA test. It was by accident. Half of what I do is by accident. And so, Eddie, if you pull up just a DNA page, any, it doesn't make, you got a test on there? One of the things I did was when I pulled up,
keep going.
where my tests are.
I'm sitting here waiting on you to finish talking. Tell me what.
Okay. So on the genealogy page where it says search, where you go into search.
For DNA matches?
Yeah. Just your first page on DNA. Let me see. What am I doing? Something? Where have I lost everybody?
Oh no, you're here. We see you loud and clear.
But I can only see you. Wait a minute, I must have, oh, here it is. Okay. If you go in down, it says search name. If you put in Georgetown, I can't see Jerry's screen.
Okay, just a minute.
I mean,
Eddie's not. He
can't see Eddie's. It
He
I
is.
hasn't shared screen yet. He hasn't shared
shared it
screen
yet.
yet. It's coming up.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
coming up. The show is coming up.
Mhm.
Showtime.
Okay, so where is it? Oh, okay, it says search. Okay, then put in under match name, just put in the word Georgetown.
Under what location?
No, not
No,
back
under
there.
match name.
Right over there. Yeah, Eddie.
Just type in Georgetown. One word. And just search and see, just hit search and see if anybody comes up.
Nope, not for me.
Okay. Not for you. Okay, that's something that all of you can do. If you do it on all your DNA matches, and if Georgetown pops up, you'll see somebody with an initial, just the initials, and it says managed by the Georgetown Memory Project. Somebody in your family is a descendant of the Georgetown 272. And this is the reason the Georgetown University is in existence. Now they sold a little over 300 and sent them to Louisiana. And now they're talking about how do you provide some type of reparations for the descendants. So that's just another thing that can kind of be on the lookout. Like I said, I found it by just a younger cousin calling, asking me a question. So now I'm trying to figure out how to make sure that if they ever decide to do some type of reparations, I've got a 6 and 8-year-old great grandnephews. They need college tuition and they live in Washington, D.C. So.
That's great. And that project is called the Georgetown 272.
Well, the group is called, there are a couple groups now. It's called Georgetown 272, but when you're searching, just enter Georgetown.
Did that on my husband's DNA on Anthony, and it did come up, managed by Georgetown
Memory Project.
Yes.
You are your father, whoever is
my
a
husband,
descendant.
Anthony Tony.
Did he know that?
He's out on an errand.
but I mean, was he aware that somebody?
I never heard of it till you just mentioned it.
Okay, then go in and Google Georgetown University through the not LA Times, the New York Times did an article in 2016 when they finally figured they rediscovered this whole piece. So now there are a couple of groups called Georgetown 272. You can Google them and get some information. So see, now that helps. Now I got to figure out how we're related. What's the name he uses on?
Anthony Hill. That's my husband.
Okay, who does he match? Do you see the initial that he matches?
B period H period.
Oh, okay. Let me look. Just quickly, let me look.
Wow, look at here. Boy, we treasure hunting. Treasure.
No. Okay, treasure, I was looking because I've got a cousin who matches a BM. So you match a completely different person. Go in and look at that tree. There's a tree. And look up Georgetown Memory Project. So now you got to do some research. He is descendant of the 272 enslaved people who were sold by the Jesuits and sent to Louisiana about 1832. And now Georgetown University in DC, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. And there are a couple of groups down in Louisiana that are working with Georgetown. They just set up a fund. You can Google all of this.
I'm so excited.
Now you know how I got it. So you can do it for any of your DNA tests.
I'm doing me next.
No, okay. Finally, one more thing. The person that my family, my siblings and my nieces and nephew matches, I don't know, she's very active in this group, but she has removed herself from the Georgetown Memory Project, the people that the Georgetown Memory Project, the descendants, so if you do the same thing, instead of putting in Georgetown, put in Thomas, that's her last name. And if you go down to the bottom and you see a Thomas, and if you see an SG managed by Sandra Green, Sandra Thomas, that's a Georgetown University match. So if you just put in Thomas and you find initial SG managed by Sandra Thomas, that's a Georgetown DNA match. Okay, I'm done. I'm done, Jerry.
That's great. Now you see
Thank
why.
you.
Now you see why she's my mentor.
No, I'm not your mentor. I'm just your crazy cousin who's running around finding stuff
He is.
with
She's
no rhyme or
awesome.
reason, but it works out.
How about that, Wandell? What do you think about her?
Interesting, very interesting. I'm taking notes.
Oh,
I'm
well, we
taking
have to
notes.
get together.
Oh yeah, because you're only about 20 minutes from me.
Yeah.
I got to look you up because you're not that far down the 110 freeway.
No, not that far.
I get your information to give you a jingle.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're really, really close. Too close not to see you.
Okay. Well, Tony, Michelle, I'm so happy. Say we're descendant. You know who else is?
My name didn't come up, just his.
Well, you know who one of the people that were on the ship with the descendant, the lady on the actress on Law and Order that played the black lady.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a Georgetown descendant. So.
Wait till Anthony gets back. I can't wait to tell him.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm done, Jerry.
Oh, that's awesome. You're never done. You're right on time. Hey, Tommy, what you think so far? How things progress, Tom?
Yeah, it's amazing. If you Google the Georgetown 272, there's a bunch of information out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they really are.
Yeah, that's nice. That's good stuff.
Well, this has been a very productive meeting. I appreciate everybody, taking time on a Sunday to join in and keep us connected. We're going to go through some closing comments now, starting with Eddie.
Before we close, I got a question.
Go ahead.
The question is, my deals, Tommy had mentioned about the through line. And like I said last time, everybody has a connection with Jerry. Have you put Jerry's line into your own private trees yet?
No, I have not. And the reason I haven't is I haven't found the common ancestor yet to link the two. Okay. I know there's a DNA link and I have to create a separate tree. So I create a separate tree for these folks.
Now, the reason why I ask, because Ancestry will go out and research everything for you through lines. That's the purpose of it.
Right.
So if you put them in your tree as a link, then Ancestry will do the work for you.
I see what you're saying.
Because we all get on here and we say, well, we don't know. If you just put them in your tree and see if the Ancestry go out there and find potential connections for you.
That's a good point.
I did that.
And so that's
how did it work, Michelle?
That's what we need to do, even though, because Jerry contacted and tell you where you match is fourth generation. You can go back 4 generations because Jerry's tree is pretty informative, and look at that 4th generation line, and you have a better chance of looking at their children and finding your match that way.
Right.
I did that, but it didn't pick up anything.
It haven't?
No.
You got some funny DNA. No. but that's something that we did, because that's what I've been doing.
Eddie, in our next meeting, would you do that presentation for us, please?
Let me think about it. Yeah, okay. But that's something we need to just start working on when we're not together, is to start looking at that.
Yeah, that's another tool that we can use. That's when we're here. We want to use as many of them as we can.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go with closing comments. Tiffany, Eddie, Deborah.
I'm done. My comment.
Tiffany.
I don't have no comment right now. It's just a question. Hey, y'all talking about the through line? Mine still ain't popping up yet. I think you got to have generations, but it's like I do have my grandma, my grandpas, my great grandmas and great grandpas and all them on there, but it's still not popping up. I don't know if I'm missing something.
Did you link your tree to your DNA?
Yes.
And How long ago?
It's been a while ago.
Well,
So,
you have to have about 3 generations at least.
Yeah, you got to have at least 2 to 3 generations.
3 generations at least.
Then it'll start populating.
Okay.
And ancestry will help you, you know, with the hints, build your tree. You know,
Yeah.
the more you do, it'll help you build it out a little further.
Yeah, you got to look at those hints that you get in your tree, those little green leaves. You need to look at those.
Mom, you broke my bed.
And so we'll look at that. We'll look at that, Tiffany. Okay. Hey, Eddie, closing comments, please.
My comments always the same. Good.
Thanks. Hey, thanks for stepping up and showing that demo, because that was very helpful, and that's a tool that we're going to be using. Thanks, Francis, for that idea. Deborah, you're next. Closing comments, please.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for inviting me week after week, and that I'm glad that I tuned in today, and just keep up the good work.
Thank you. Cousin Francis?
No, just thank you. I'm just glad to be here today. It's just kind of been helpful. It's Tommy, I'm going to look because I have a feeling I'm related to you somewhere.
I hope
so.
Okay.
Tommy?
Yes, sir.
Closing comments.
Thanks again for inviting me. As always, I've learned something. So again, thanks again.
Thanks for your presentation. You came through. Hey,
Sure.
Cousin Wandale.
I'm gonna say, first of all, thank you, because you had to keep getting that fire lit up under me to keep me moving and motivated. So, I have to have that, because I get sidetracked with my projects and stuff. So
no, man.
Just keep the fire down this way.
Well, you don't know how heartwarming it is to look at you and know that your father and my father were brothers.
Oh, for sure.
And then and the history that you didn't get to see, like you said, you didn't get to see Big Mama Ethel Burnell. I did.
No, grandfather Egypt, man.
Well, I did, and
yeah.
So that's what makes it so rewarding, the synergy that you and I have and the love that we have for each other. It's really solid, and I appreciate you being there for me. It helps me. It gives me energy and motivation to continue.
Well, Jerry, I'm gonna tell you one thing. For a long time, because it took me, because I didn't know that who my biological father was until I was 24 years old. And I wouldn't have found that out had my stepfather not died, because that was something they kept from me. But then I realized later down the road, like now, how much history I was really actually robbed of, because I didn't get a chance to meet all my cousins, and they lived in the same state that I would go back and visit with my parents, and still didn't know I had relatives there on another side. So there's a lot of lost history, but this actually helped bring some of it, to light. But, I keep trying to get not to be angry about that, because that's the past. I have to look at the future and see what's in front of me and take that and run with it.
Yeah, and you have, and thanks for that testimony. And our kids, like your daughter and my daughter, they're real close. The synergy they have. So it's growing. It's growing.
Oh yeah.
Michelle, closing comments.
Okay, so 2 things. Wandale, don't forget to give me the information.
I got you written down over here. Okay.
And, he's excited about that.
Okay.
And every time I get on, I learn something. So I'm really excited to be here. And I can't wait to tell Anthony. And I looked his brother up, and his brother is also. So
Hey.
I'm pretty excited. Because, his money is my money.
You got
I like that analogy.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, well, my closing comments is really a blessing seeing everybody, and enjoy the rest of the day, and stay safe out there, and it's all good. It's all God.
Okay.
Definitely that. Everybody be safe. Anybody dealing with the vaccines? That's my question. That's my question I should ask everybody.
I got mine.
Vaccines.
I've had mine.
I had mine.
I haven't had one, and I've been really skeptical about that because first of all, I'm a cancer survivor, and I'm not a sickly person. So there's things that I'm waiting on. I ask friends of mine that I know that have had the test, the vaccines, and I'm always waiting to hear about symptoms. And that's my biggest thing because I still have residual symptoms from chemo. So that's one of my biggest issues about vaccines. So I'm always asking questions about that.
Oh, Wendell, I had breast cancer. I didn't, unfortunately, I didn't have to go through chemo or anything else. And I had the Moderna. And the only thing I had was just a little soreness around the injection on the first shot, and the second one, I got a little sleepy, for a couple of days, a little drowsy, but other than that, I haven't had any. That's my experience.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, because like I say, my biggest thing is I still have residual side effects from chemo, and that's 8 years ago.
Oh, okay.
tell you
See,
what,
I didn't.
Hey, I'll
Yeah.
bring this up after you get your vaccine. I'll see y'all later.
All right,
bye-bye.
everybody take care.
Bye.
Okay.
Enjoy your
Bye-bye.
day.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. See you, Francis.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Oh my goodness. All right, Jerry.
Big cuz.
All right.
All right.
I like the jokes.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
You too, Ted.
Y'all take care of yourself and stuff now. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check that out and stuff. And
yeah.
I got to get out there and just finish up, send my test in so I can go ahead and get registered. But you told me I need to call them up before I send it in, right? And activate the test, right?
Yeah,
For the
yeah,
access.
Once you get the kit, you haven't did this yet, right?
I got that.
Oh yeah, well heck yeah. If you take it and then you activate your kit and then mail it.
Okay, so I called them up and activate it and then mail it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I do that this week.
Yeah, definitely. And look, talk to me before. I want to walk through the steps with you on it.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll do that.
Oh, that's cool, cuz
All right,
good
look here,
Lord
man,
wills, I'll see you soon.
Oh yeah, look here. I'm gonna have to come out there, hang out with you, man. Just teach me how to fish.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah, because I look here. I got poles. I ain't never caught a fish, but I hear that it's relaxing, but I know though that it's something that it'd probably be good, especially like now at the time, like right now.
Yeah, it is. It's nice, and I got a nice little John boat, like a 14-foot boat, and we're not going far. Just get out and get away, and like instead of wishing, you'll be fishing.
Okay, that'll work. All right, cousin.
Much
I
love.
love you, man.
All right.
All right, talk with you later.
You too.
Okay, bye.
Had an awesome meeting with the family. A lot of rewards. A lot of great information that was shared. Look forward to the next one. Peace.